everybody. Mike Jackson here. We are on day 12 of our 90-day challenge. And today what we're going to be doing are a couple of phone calls first to some deals that we've sent offers on. So I want to see how this is all going with our offers and see kind of where we stand, and also probably try to pivot some of our cash offers into creative offers, and also answer some questions about creative to people who are unfamiliar with creative financing. So let's dive into this. This first one that I want to call here is, you guys didn't hear it, but the agent had his broker come onto the line, and the broker had no clue what he was talking about with regard to creative. And that's what I was pitching, was creative to this agent. So he and I kind of got into a little bit of a tussle, I would say. So let's see what he says here.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
Hey, Cameron, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I just got back from spring break with my kids, so I'm looking back through some of the offers that I sent out to you, and I just want to touch base and see kind of where you guys were at.
Yeah, so we're just he just only wanted to accept, honestly, like either a loan or a cash offer. So like the first offer I was saying, I think I responded back to you, just saying like the cash offer was great, as long only if we can get up to exactly where he wants to be, which is his asking price right now is $388, $900. So if that's something we can do, then we can definitely have a deal. That's what he wanted me to tell you.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Just out of curiosity, what about the offer where we were taking over the mortgage didn't fit what he was trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so I sent it to him, and I allowed everybody to just discuss that with the seller, and then the seller just said no, thank you. He just don't want to go through that, I guess. I mean, he just feels like he won't have the first, he won't have the rights to like the property, and he won't be the first one. You know what I'm saying? He won't be like, I guess he was just telling me he won't be like the first on the home. So I'm not too familiar with it, but I let my assistant manager as well let her speak to him about it, and they just looked over it. But he was familiar with it himself, and he just told me to tell you no, thank you, that he would like to have just the higher cash offer.
Sure. So the person that we spoke with on that three-way phone call, who was that? Was that?
Yeah, that was my broker. Yeah, for the Coldwell Banker here in off of Sand Lake.
Got it. Yeah, my concern with that conversation was that, and I think you probably sensed it for me, was that he didn't necessarily understand what we were trying to accomplish, and so I didn't know if it was going to be properly explained to your client. That's what my biggest concern was. So
yeah, I definitely got that. That's why I wanted to just take the time to have someone else explain it as well, and then I wanted to just give it to him so he can look over it, because he's actually knowledgeable and just that aspect of just what she was asking for, I guess, because he said he understood it, and he was just saying no. He just tell him, say thank you, but no thank you. That's what he wanted to say.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, no worries. Obviously that's not the outcome that we wanted. We're still interested in that property. Our offer still stands, and what I'm going to do as far as where we are in general is I'm just going to kind of sit and wait. And if any questions come up with regard to our offer, if you guys keep continuing to lower the price, for example, and don't want to do that, I'm happy to, again, pay him some cash at closing, make sure you guys get paid, as opposed to him having to pay 30 plus grand, at this point to walk away. So my offer still stands, and I guess I'll just touch base with you every couple weeks or so and see if anything changes on your end.
Right. Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, Cameron, do you have anything else that might make for a good investment opportunity for me in your market?
Uh, Actually, I do have a couple other things that I have one right now. One deal that's coming to the market is an off-market deal. I'm actually trying to see when the owner is ready to put it on the market, but it should be around sometime this end of this month, next couple weeks. And but if you're interested in anything, I can also look for you as well. But me personally, this is my only listing.
Okay. The one that you have off market, is that a nice property or is it ugly that needs rehab?
It's ugly. It needs rehab. It's a
Really?
distressed property, so it's more so like as is, and the owner knows that it's more so for investors.
Okay. When is the soonest that I could put an offer in on that?
Um, I'm hoping. I think the owner is shooting for this March right here at the end of this March. Trying to 100% get that answer just because I have a couple other people that's asking me as well. So I just want to 100% get the answer by then, maybe the end of this week, or to see if it's going to be the following weekend after this, or this end of this week right here. So I can get back on you with that,
Yeah, that'd be great. Is there a chance that he
and
or
I can.
she would accept an offer off market?
Um, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And then we could just, yeah, we can take it that way, and then we could just sign just a. But I have a contract that I just have to sign with him that I can just get over to him, and just basically to compensate me for helping him out find a
Yeah.
buyer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, however you have to do that doesn't matter to me at all. Um, is it? Would you text me the address?
Yeah, I can text you the address.
Okay. If you text me the address, I can get you an offer today on it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll text you the address. And
Okay. And then also, if you guys have a number in mind, let me know that as well. Okay.
okay, yeah. As of right now, I don't have a number in mind. That's what I was waiting on getting from him. But if you would like to just submit an offer and see, um, and then maybe we could just see where he's at from there.
Yeah, happy to do that. That sounds great. Thanks, Cameron. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Goodbye.
All right.
Okay, so the offer that we made on the creative side of it was actually a really interesting offer, and it was one where we were actually paying the seller some money to walk away. What I'm looking at here, based on the numbers that I have, are the seller walking away with? No, I'm sorry, they're going to have to pay 25 grand at this point to walk away. And so our offer on this was to take over the mortgage, pay him a couple grand, pay the agent's commission, pay the closing costs, do all those things that helps him maximize his equity instead of him having to pay 25 or 30 grand at close. So obviously they didn't accept that. Totally fine. I think that eventually they're going to want to circle back on that. The issue could be VA entitlement. There is a VA loan on, so maybe that's the issue. I don't really know yet, but you know, the reason that we make these kinds of phone calls to agents and we build up these kinds of relationships is just for what happened right there. We want those off-market opportunities, whether it's cash or creative. I prefer cash, honestly, for off-market properties. And in this situation, if I can submit an offer pre-market where very few other people are actually competing with me to get that property, I'm in a great spot. I can simply get that thing under contract. I could renovate it myself, or I could wholesale it off to a partner of mine. So that's why we do this type of calling and build these types of relationships. Even though our last phone conversation with this agent and his broker was contentious, I do want to continue to nurture this conversation and this relationship. So I want to continue to nurture the relationship so that I do get opportunity for these off-market deals. That's exactly why I'm doing this. So that was a good one. That was a really great one. I'm going to text him. Okay. And then I'm also going to make a note here as well to follow up in a couple weeks. And then I'm going to move this guy do a follow-up sequence. Okay, let me sort this by my leads here. Okay. Oops. All right, let's just keep on going. We also have a ton of new leads to go through today.
Hi, you reached.
Okay, so this is a situation where the seller said that they didn't want to do a creative solution, worried about liability. I'm calling right now just to see if it's back on the market or still on the market. It is. It's been on the market for a couple of weeks, but not quite yet.
Your call has.
All right, cool. Let's do this instead. So let's start to call some new leads. While I'm calling new leads, I'll also create a new filter for me to more easily go through some of the offers sent. So we can just continue to flip through. So let's go to some new leads here and see what we can find.
Your call.
Let's double dial today. I'm going to rotate my double dials today. Let's do one on, one off. And let's see what we can find. So I'm going to text this one now. She didn't answer, so let's text.
Hello, this is Zach.
Hey, Zach, this is Mike. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. I'm calling you about your listing that you have on Carter Landing. And I'm looking at this as an investment for myself. And I know that you guys just listed, so I guess I'm kind of curious to learn just a little bit more about the neighborhood and then the property itself. Is now a good time to touch base?
Yeah, just a second. Let me switch you from my Apple Watch. I just got some new gadget. I'll give you a call back for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. All right, let's actually wait for that phone call. That sucks when I get phone calls while I'm making calls. That's probably him now.
A new lead. Press any key to connect.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, sorry, this is much better. Yeah, so you want a little bit more information about the community, you said?
Yeah, the community. First of all, I want to see if I can rent out the property. And that's kind of my first question.
Yeah, there's no lease restrictions or anything like that. As a matter of fact, in about a week, I was going to post it up for rent and see if I can make a few bucks myself. But there's no lease restrictions, no minimum time to own, nothing like that. Community's good. Community's really nice. It's not gated. There's no amenities, so that's kind of a downfall. Other than that, it's quiet. Most of the homes back into a preserve, so that's also a pretty nice feature as well. That kind of eliminates a lot of riffraff, to tell you the truth. So
it sounds like it's your property,
Community's
Zach.
awesome. Yeah, no, it's a great property. I wish I could have brought it with me. I had to move. I just got out of the military. I did 6 years. I had to come down to Tampa, and I wish I could have brought the home with me, to tell you the truth. But obviously that's not an option. So,
well, congratulations.
Yeah, Community's awesome.
So,
yeah, thank you.
So why don't you just rent this thing out? It seems like you guys have a really good situation going on here.
Yeah, I was thinking about renting it out, but the profit margins are probably only going to be about $400 a month. And with me being in Tampa, I don't want to hire a property manager and start all that all the way in Jax, the 3-hour drive. It's just not really for me at the moment if it was going to be my first rental.
Yeah.
It would make more sense for someone who is an investor of some kind. Let me ask you this before we carry on the conversation, because I do have a busy timeline. Are you looking for someone who's going to do seller financing?
Not necessarily. Have you gotten a lot of phone calls about that?
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, I bet. Even though you guys have only been on the market for, what, a couple days or so, right?
As of now. It was listed previously for about 3 months with another realtor. But I was able to find out I can list it myself to save a few bucks, so I lowered the price $10,000.
Yeah, I can look at it both ways. I will tell you, though, that that loan that you do have on it, because I do that research before I pop on, is so attractive. If there's a way for you to keep this house somehow, I don't know. I mean, I would highly encourage you to do that if that's even possible.
Yeah, I might. Like I said, I'm going to give it a week just to see if I can release it from my hands and collect a few bucks. But if I have to rent it out, then that's just going to have to be the move. You
know what you could do too, Zach?
I know. I didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking outside the box here. You could sell, just traditionally, right, with like a loan or someone coming in with cash. Or you could also provide financing at a higher interest rate too and make more cash flow.
Yeah, that might be something to look into as well. Like I said, though, it's a VA loan for one.
Uh-huh.
I want to get all my entitlement back, and I don't want to have any kind of associated risk with somebody faulting on the loan. And next thing you know, I have to pay off the monthly payment and all this other stuff. So
totally,
that's the only thing. I don't want something too intricate as my first kind of deal.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. That's the kind of world that I guess it's the ocean that I swim in. So my mind always goes to, as the seller, how can I make more money? So yeah. If you If you can sell it traditionally, great. If not, it's obviously a great loan to keep. But let me take a look at this from a traditional standpoint and see if I can make it work. And as far as the house goes itself, is there anything that would need to be fixed up or renovated or repaired?
No. I mean, if you were in the area, I saw you have a Texas number. If you were in the area and you went and saw it, the house is perfect. I mean, everything conveys. It's literally turnkey. The washer, dryers, even everything. It even has a 10-year transferable warranty for structure from KB. It's honestly been perfect. It's treated us well. I really wish I could have brought it with me. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, cool. Well, let me take a look at this, see if I can make something work. If I can, I'll give you a call back. Otherwise, I wish you good luck, and thanks so much for your service. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too, Zach. Okay, so seller. I'm going to put this one on a longer wait period, maybe like 30 days, and just kind of see where he's at. He's in a really great spot. He could obviously do anything he wants with this. He could rent it out. He has a great 3% loan on it. He could sell it traditionally. He could sell it with owner financing. And this guy has so much flexibility because of the loan that he currently has, which is freaking great. He's in a great spot. Now, his concern about the VA entitlement is totally legitimate. If I were him, sounds like he's a young guy, and if I were him, maybe what I would do is he still has lots of entitlement. He could probably borrow $450,000, 0% down, no worries. But because he is young, he might be thinking more towards the future and trying to buy multiple properties. So I don't know about that. So, it's hard to get in his shoes without him really telling us, but he has a really, really great loan. So I hope he gets what he wants out of it. Ooh, this one's a rough one.
This is the office of Win-Win Real Estate Services. We are currently unavailable. Please leave your name.
Dude, it's freaking crazy when no one's answering phones. Let's see here. I'm going to try to find her cell phone number. That is her cell phone. Interesting. Let's just double dial.
This is the office of Win-Win Real Estate Services.
All right.
Hi.
I did get a call back from one of these agents here. Let's see who called. One of the agents just texted me that I just called, and she said, we've received multiple offers on the property. Cool. So let's see, what do I want to say? Where would I submit my offer? Okay. See how she responds. Oh, that's right. That's what I want to do. I wanted to cancel incoming phone calls while I do this. So let me go to settings. Okay, call. Oh, here we go.
St. Cloud Real Estate.
Hi, I'm looking for Christine Lano, please.
This is her.
Hi, Christine. My name is Mike. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. How you doing?
Good, thanks. I'm calling you about your listing that you have on Preserve Boulevard.
Yes.
You sound really busy.
Oh, no, I was. Yeah, I was in the middle of something. That's why I didn't answer your call the first time.
Got it.
But go ahead.
Got it.
I figured it was something important, so I said, let me put the other call on hold.
As an
What's going on?
agent, aren't all the calls super important?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so I'm interested in buying this as a potential investment property, and so that's the angle that I'm taking a look at it from here. I guess that I'm kind of curious. I haven't looked it up in the MLS. I'm just looking up on Zillow. Are there any rental restrictions on this property?
Not that I have been told. I said I put in the listing that everybody needs to verify it, but she has not said anything because I also own a property management company here in St. Cloud, and I have not had any problems.
Got it.
With restrictions.
Okay, cool. As a property manager, do you have any idea what this would rent for by chance?
Well, what happened was this listing was up before, and then it expired, and then she called me to rent it, but she really needs to sell it. So I had put it up for 26, but we didn't get any bites. And then a couple of days later, one went up for rent down the street, 5330, I think it was, pretty much the same floor plan, and that one went up for 2195. So
oh, wow.
That's why she decided forget it. Yeah, it does have a CDD, so the taxes are a little on the high side.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay. Is there anything that is going to have to be repaired on this property at all in terms of the big mechanicals, the HVAC, anything like that?
Nothing. No, it's brand new. The house is like a year and a half old.
Got it. I always like to ask just in case.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's beautiful. I mean, I thought about buying it for myself, and I don't want a CDD. Say CDD is $1,752 a year.
Jeez.
The HOA is $60 a month.
Oh my gosh. That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, that's why I figured I'd let you know, because if you haven't looked it up on the MLS, that's where you'll probably find it, all that information.
Yeah. No, thanks for letting me know that. Okay, so you own rentals also?
Yes. No, I own the company.
Okay,
but I was going to buy it for myself to live in.
Oh, I see. Got it. As a primary.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so normally if I'm taking a look at something like this, what I would traditionally do is just see what I can offer, and traditionally are cash. with traditional financing. Would she consider seller financing this by chance?
Probably not, but I can ask her because she's a single woman that got a promotion up to Boston, and I think she just needs it off her hands.
Aren't people supposed to go the other way from Boston to Florida?
Right. Right. Yeah, but I guess she got a good job offer.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I'm interested if this is something that she would seller finance, or even just allow us to simply take over the mortgage that's already in place. I would be open to that as well. I think that from the numbers that I underwrote here, it looks like it's a relatively tight situation for her. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, if I could possibly do a situation where I take over the mortgage, I can actually pay your commission directly so she doesn't have to. I can take care of all of those closing costs, those sorts of things, if that's appealing to her in any way. And
okay,
maybe a good place for us to start is just send you over what something like this could look like. And then if there's any interest, we can just, have a second conversation about it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. Would you do me a huge favor and just text me your email address so I don't get it wrong? And I'd love to send something over to you this afternoon.
Okay. All right. I'll do it right now.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome. No
Bye-bye.
problem. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So what am I thinking here? I'm going to send her over a creative deal. Looks like she's negative $3,000. It's not a great loan. There's not going to be a lot of people who are pounding on her for this. However, one thing to note too is that she has had this listed on the market before and it expired, which makes me think that she's gotten a lot of offers for creative. But, maybe she's at the point now where she's okay with it. It looks like it's a conventional offer. It's not an FHA. It's not a VA. She might be open to something like this, especially if she's moving up to Boston. And we can also show her what I'm thinking about right now is what happens if she moves up to Boston. Boston's probably a more expensive market than where this property is. And she's probably going to be concerned about qualifying for her next house. So how can we show her that she can qualify for her next house and leave this mortgage in place? It's not a problem, but we just have to keep that in mind as we're having the conversation with her and also get ahead of it a little bit. For example, the next conversation I have with the agent might be, hey, did you get a chance to take a look at the offer that we sent you? By the way, if I were in her shoes, I would probably wonder how I can qualify for my next house and then get ahead of that objection right away. So I'm going to just note that she's moving to Boston, so that could be a concern. Send creative offer. All right. I intentionally didn't go too deep either into the creative side of it. I could have if I wanted to. I didn't want to. I'm also struggling a little bit to get my way back into these calls after spring break a little bit. So I'm not sharp in any way. I'll never, ever be accused of being sharp with pitching creative right now, but that's why we're doing this, right? Is to get sharp. So let's see what we can do with this one here. I'm just going to continue going on. Send a text.
Please leave your message for
Tashia McDougall.
All right. I think that she put me in a voicemail. So let's see what I can do here with the text. I'm not going to double dial her. Since we have a lot to go through here today. Whoa, this one's big negative equity. Let's see what the story is here.
Hi, you for Jeremy Sullivan with 10321
This is Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Mike. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good, thanks. I'm calling you about your listing that you have on Glenstone Springs.
Yes.
Is that a short sale?
No.
Okay. Got it. I pulled it up. I ran some numbers on it real quick. It looks like the sellers are big time negative equity, so I thought it might be a short sale.
As far as I know, they're not big time negative equity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my numbers might be wrong. It just looks like they owe 424 on it. So
no, they told me that they told me what they owe, and we've calculated what they owe profit, and I don't have them owing that much unless they're completely forgetting about something.
I'm probably freaking you out for no reason. My numbers are probably wrong. So
Okay.
so don't worry about that. I'm looking at this as a possible investment for myself as a rental. And so this area, would this be, in your professional opinion, would this be a good market for me to buy a rental in?
Clarksville in general has always been a good market for rentals because of, we've got a high population of military that's in and out on average 3 to 4 years. So some want to buy, some don't. So there's definitely been a pretty strong rental market. So it's the reason why our market's never really suffered from the national standpoint.
Right.
And it's like when obviously in 2008 everybody had a rough go of it, but we were partly a little less because of our influx of military. Every year there's PCS and in and out.
Sure. Okay. And then as far as the property goes, I know it was built a little while ago. Do you think that there's anything that would need to be renovated or fixed? The big mechanical type of parts of the home?
No, not that I know of. We discussed that when we got ready to list it. There were some small things that we did go ahead and repair on the front end. Like there is some wood on the outside, like wood siding that had some issues that we replaced. There was no water intrusion or anything like that, but just wood that just had some weather and some time on it. So we put some new trim pieces on here and there and painted the entire exterior, and had a leaky bathtub upstairs that the faucet leaks, so we replaced that. So it was just some home maintenance, more type things.
Okay, cool.
That's all we really had to do.
Oh, that's good.
Paint.
Yeah, it sounds like it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's got new windows, only a few years old on the windows, so you got better efficiency there with the windows. And the HVAC didn't really have a good HVAC for upstairs. They put in split units for upstairs, so the upstairs is maintained better. But yeah.
And those windows are so expensive. I just got a quote on my house for I think $70,000 for windows or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Well, glad someone put it in instead of me. Okay, cool. So anything else that I should know about this listing at all? Like I said, I'm looking for rental properties in the Clarksville area. So if this one doesn't work, if you have anything else that might make sense for me, I'm happy to look at that too. But what I'm really looking for is just kind of like a turnkey type of rental that's going to, I don't even necessarily care about cash flow all that much, but I want to get a solid, into a solid rental market.
Yeah,
mean, obviously that's a higher price point for a rental typically, I would say. And you got the 3-car detached garage that comes with it. That's pretty sought after for people that like to work on vehicles. So that's, from a sales standpoint, that's a huge selling point. And it's not that old either. And then, basically, you know, if you didn't want to do that, we've got, I actually have a new construction that's post to post that I'm going to have completed here in the next month or so. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch. So it's like it's literally brand new construction that I'm building. I have a builder that builds for me. I've got listed for $319. And because it's post to post, we've got rentals in there actually.
Okay. You do yourself?
My partner who builds as well, he kept a few of his for rentals. I sold both of mine, and now I got a third that I'm probably gonna sell.
Got it. So you're an investor too? How many rentals do you own?
I'm fairly new in the investment world. I only have one right now. I built it in 2022 and kept it as a rental. So that's something Christian, my partner, he's got 20 plus rentals.
Jeez.
So he's really into the rentals. For me, it's just a new world for me. I've been a realtor for 4 years now, and so I'm just easing my way into the investment property. I'd like to add one a year if I can, but the market slowed down so much last year. I was a little hesitant to keep one.
Are you guys seeing a lot of creative type financing deals in Clarksville at all?
Really, I mean, there's been, you'll see a random here and there owner finance. You'll see, with the rates the way they were, we've got a teammate that's working an assumption that's taking, it's going to take almost a full year for that to take place. So you got the assumptions that people are doing to keep that VA, 2.25%, 2.5% interest rates. And then obviously cash. There's tons of cash offers during COVID, but you see some still now, but not a ton. That's really about it. Nothing really off the crazy world as far as super creative. Just the standard stuff for the most part. VA loans are really big here. You'll see conventional and FHAs and THDAs and stuff like that.
It's so crazy, and I hear this all the time from people who try to assume mortgages. It takes forever, and
it does.
it takes forever. And then what's crazy is that a seller, for example, could assume that a buyer is going to qualify, and the bank just says no for some arbitrary reason after 3, 6, or 12 months. It's crazy.
Yeah, when the rates went really, really high, one of the title companies here in town did like a educational session on assumptions. And so I went and listened to it, and nothing about it from like me as an owner of a home. Not that I don't have a VA loan, so you can't assume mine anyway. But nothing about that made me like, I want to do that one day.
Right.
But I get it. I mean, if you can make the deal work, and someone has enough cash to give them that equity, and then they can get that great interest rate, then I get it. But it's a long, drawn-out process for sure.
What we're doing a lot of right now are just not assuming VA mortgages, but just taking them over. And so it's subject to the existing financing. That's what it's called. And you can close in a week. You don't have to wait the 12 months. It's so quick. And, of course, there's some downside for both the buyer and the seller, but at least you get to close super quick, and you get a really good rate and a really high-quality loan.
Yeah.
So, if you ever come across anything like that, we're happy to pay cash for equity in Clarksville and just take over those mortgages.
Okay. And who are you with?
Nobody, just myself.
Just an individual? Okay. Yeah. And you're out of Texas? The phone number's in Texas.
Yep. Yeah, I live in Austin, Texas. I buy a lot in Tennessee, and so we're looking just to expand our portfolio in Tennessee right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So if you come across anything that makes sense, Jeremy, I'd love to work with you. This one I think you're probably right. I think that's probably too high priced for a good rental. It's a beautiful property though.
Yeah, no, they've done a good job taking care of it. And it's in a, as far as, it's a highly sought after area of town. So I don't have any concerns that it's going to sell. But it's, basically Clarksville set up uniquely with the military. And we always describe Clarksville by the exit number. So exit 1 is closest to post. We have 1, 4, 8, and 11. 11 is furthest from post. So 11, and it's closer to Nashville too. But 11 is you got your transient people from Nashville. You've got old Clarksville people, and you've got, people that's maybe been in the military and more established. They're like the young military. That's that side of town. Where you get closer to post, it's the younger military side of town.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
So that kind of works.
Okay. I'm sending you right now. I'm going to text you my email address. So if you come across anything that you think might be a really good rental that for some reason you don't choose to purchase, let me know.
Yeah.
And I'd love to take a look at it.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Will do.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good luck with this.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye. I'm going to put that one on a 30-day follow-up. That's one where I hope he knows the equity position. I hope that I'm wrong in the equity position. It looks like they're 50 grand negative right now. So hopefully that's not the case. But it's also not, I don't have the mortgage info other than the balance. So it could be wrong. Let's see. Agent. Thanks. I'm going to follow up in a month with that guy. So let's set a follow-up due date.
Hey there, Chris Maddox, team owner of the...
Let's double dial Chris.
We are sorry. An application error has occurred.
Let's try again. All right, I sent a text message. Let's just keep on going. Got a lot of leads to get through today. Today's going to be a busy day.
Hi, you reached F.
All right, we double dialed the last guy, so let's not double dial this one. Let's just send a text, see what happens. They usually respond in text. Remember that texting is an easy way to start a conversation, but remember to start the conversation and do it over the phone, not over text. Just my 2 cents.
Hello, this is Scott.
Hey, Scott. My name is Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm calling you about your listing that you have on Pink Street.
Yes.
I saw it just came on the market a couple days ago. It looks like a really cool property. I'm looking at it as a possible investment for myself. What type of activity have you guys gotten on this so far?
Several showings today, and I haven't got an offer on it yet, but we've got a couple of showings today.
Okay.
So I would assume we're going to get an offer pretty quick.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's priced right. It's in town. It's walking distance to the middle of town. It's a brand new house, only 2 years old. It's still got a structural warranty on it. So I think it's got everything going for it.
Yeah, and that's what appealed to me as well. Just as a rental property owner, I like to buy newer things so that there aren't any major issues with mechanicals or things like that. But having said that, I always just like to ask. There's probably nothing that has to be fixed, or I should anticipate fixing in the near future on this one, should I?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
Everything in there is perfect.
And
yeah.
And it's not in an HOA, or is it?
No. No, it is not.
Okay. And so there aren't any rental restrictions at all?
No. There's no.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. So if I submit an offer here, traditionally I would just submit a cash offer for a rental like this. Would they, if I submitted a cash offer, is there any flexibility at all in the pricing?
I hate to say either way. The client just bought the house a couple of years ago, so they're just trying to kind of net out of it. So, it would have to be fairly close to the asking price. That's why we priced it aggressively to begin with. So there might be a little flexibility, but 10, 20,000, no.
Got it. So if
came in at 295, probably would accept it, But I would say that if you come in under 290, we wouldn't look at it.
Sure. So if they're close to their net, would they? Now we do this a lot. I don't know if you've ever done this, but would they be open to us coming in and taking over the mortgage that's already in place and just paying their cash for their equity?
No, because they have a contingent offer on another house.
Oh, that's perfect. That's great. So it sounds like the concern from your standpoint would be qualifying for the next one.
Yeah, they can't qualify without selling this house. That's correct.
Okay. If they could, would they consider something like that?
Well, they can't. Because, you mean just roll the mortgage?
I'm talking about keeping the mortgage in place as it is, and then showing them and you how they can qualify for their next home by keeping this mortgage in place.
I'm fairly certain they would not be open to that, but I can ask them.
Okay.
I highly doubt they'd be open to that.
Got it. What do you think their concern would be?
Well, in the event that the second mortgage didn't get paid, they would be in serious trouble financially.
Got it.
They just don't have enough to pay two mortgages.
Got it. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, there's always a potential downside to it. This is kind of what we do, and we can show you how that could work, whether it works for this one or it doesn't work for this one, which would be totally fine, obviously. If I submitted an offer like that, do you think that you would show that to your client?
I'll show it to them, but I can pretty much tell you that they're not going to go for that, and I don't think the bank would go for that either. But if you want to submit it that way, we'll see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really care what the bank says. The bank
obviously they much prefer a cash offer. So
sure. Yeah, I was just thinking, since it's a tight situation, they probably can't lower the price all that much, and so I don't really care about the price. What's really attractive to me is the mortgage. So
right.
That's kind of why I'm into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like I said, I know my client. I've sold him several houses, and I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that he'd shoot it down real quick.
Sure.
But they know I'd submit whatever you send to me. I'll always submit any offer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll kind of explain to you how the process goes. It sounds like this would be your first type of transaction like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Never have done that before.
Okay, cool. Awesome. First time for everything, I guess.
Yep, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, I'll submit something to you just so you can take a look at it, and then I'll follow up with you to see if you have any questions, which I'm sure you'll have, or just shoot it down and obviously let me know that as well.
Okay.
But I'll send that over to you, Scott. I got your email address right here, so I'll send that over there.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
I always find myself pushing the older, I think that he's older, the older agents who have never done a subject to or creative transaction. He says things like, I don't think that the bank will go for it. I want to jump in and say, look, I don't care what the bank says. I did a little bit there, right? But I'm not going to consult with the bank to see if they're okay with me taking over the mortgage. That's not necessary. And then when the agent responds with, I don't think that my seller would go for it, the concern that I have personally, which I'm working on, is if the agent doesn't understand what the offer is, how can he or she properly explain that to their clients? So how can I provide them with the information where they can properly explain it to them, and even maybe back off entirely on this one and say, look, it sounds like this seller isn't going to go for something like this. It also sounds like this is the first time that you've ever done a transaction like this without being, condescending. That's an issue that I have a little bit. It's more passive aggressive, as my wife says. But if I can show them how this could work for a client in the future, why not listen to how this is a possible solution? So, for example, his concern initially was they won't go for it because they have to qualify for the next home. Oh, I have no problem with that. I can show you how that could work. If I push that aside and show you guys how that could work, would your sellers be open to something like this? And then, of course, would there be any other objections, do you think, from the seller? I'm just curious. I'm making sure I'm prepared for the next phone call. In this case, the seller was concerned about what happens in the case of default. Seller doesn't have a whole lot of money. What happens if I don't make a payment? So there are a bunch of things that we could do there, right? We could escrow some money for them, 2 months worth of payments, 3 months worth of payments. We could stress the importance of how they are protected in the case of default. So, just kind of walk them through that. That's what I want to work on a little bit later on in these phone calls, is how we can align ourselves much more with these agents so that we can properly prepare them for their next opportunity with us, right? Hopefully they'll think of us as the creative people. Mike does these sorts of transactions. I'm going to reach out to him and see if he can help with this one. And especially for the agents who don't know, aren't familiar with these types of transactions, this is a great opportunity for me to step in and say, okay, cool. Let's show you how this could work for a future opportunity. Whether it works for this seller or not, I don't know. But let's talk about how it could work for this one. Let's try to I'm going to write a note here, and then let's try to make one more phone call, and then we will shut it down for the day on our live. My system is slow this morning, so let's try to make one more phone call on our new leads here.
Hello, you have reached Sheila Tillery with Mark Spain Real Estate. I'm sorry I missed your phone call. Please leave a message.
All right. So normally I like to leave on a high note after a phone call, but I have to hop into another meeting here in a couple minutes. So I think what we learned today is a couple of things. First off, with respect to that last phone call that we had with that gentleman, I think that the idea should be to be as consultative as we possibly can be. I think that focusing on removing the subject property from our conversation would help with something like that, so that there is no pressure on us communicating how this is going to benefit their sellers in this situation, right? And then what we can do is we can kind of come full circle on that. We came across one or two agents today who own their own property that they're selling, and that's a very unique situation, right? We have to handle that differently. We're talking to a seller as opposed to the agent there. So we have to adjust the conversation just a little bit, make it a little bit more personal, understand their situation a little bit better, and see if we can help them with our solution. In this case, it doesn't really help. That was the situation we had today. But that's okay. Next time. Awesome. Well, that wraps up day 12. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for attending. Appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for your support. We will see you tomorrow.